great friend Kevin O'Leary, and we are in the beautiful Muskokas on Lake Joseph, and we're going for a little boat cruise. Now, Kevin, you and I have a lot in common, and one thing in particular is about educating people on money, especially women and children, making sure that you can be financially successful in the future. So tell us more about your books.
So, you know, the genesis of the whole book thing, because I'm now on my third one, happened this way. I get about 10,000 emails a month. I can't read them all. I pull 100 of them in the last week just to get the tonality of what people are thinking.
So you actually do answer back to people?
Yeah, I
which
do.
I like.
And,
okay.
and sometimes we put them on the air, Lang O'Leary, with the answers if they're particularly good questions. What I started doing is I noticed that there were the same 50 questions being asked of me year in, year out. So I wrote them all down and I said, okay, I'm going to answer these 50 questions because I get them every year anyways. And that was the beginning of the first book. And what happens, I'd sit down at night at 11 o'clock with a bottle of Burgundy, drink the whole thing by 1 o'clock.
It has to be one of yours, correct?
Of course. And then I write and I read it and I say, this stuff is great. And I wake up in the morning, look at it again, and I say, this stuff is shit. And so writing a book was really hard work, the first one,
right.
but I got better at it.
Good therapy.
Yeah, it was, but I answered those questions from a real life experience that I had had. I'd made many of those mistakes myself. I don't make them anymore. I'm all about financial literacy now because I realize at the age of 5 is when you should start teaching children about money.
I agree.
5 years old. And I've got a whole bunch of points on how to do that. I've done it with my own kids. They understand the value of money. You know, I'm not going to be giving them any of it when they graduate, so they know they've got a tough life ahead.
They've
got to make their own.
Make their way.
But I'm going to pay for them till then. That's what my parents did with me.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, it's financial literacy is what I write about. And I don't care what age you are. You can always learn something about how to be better in your relationship with money, because it sits at the table with you. To me, a family is like a business. You're building a dynasty together. That's what a family is, and money is right there beside you. Without it, you have a very hard time.
With everything that you do, I think it's very important that you give back, and you do your part. So maybe you can tell our viewers what it is that you do.
You know, what I've realized is for the last, I don't know, 20 years, I've been giving to all kinds of different causes, hospitals, universities, charities, ballets, you name it. And I think what happened to me in the last couple of years is I started looking at it saying, how do I know this money that I'm giving away every year is being properly used? So what I've decided to do is create my own foundation. And so here's the genesis of how it happened. I'm a huge advocate for teenage entrepreneurs. I think there are people in life that know when they're in grade 10 and 11 and 12, they know their destiny is to take a risk and start a business. And I want to be there to support them. I haven't heard of anybody doing that. So that's the focus of my work. And here's how it started. Last year, Maclean's magazine did an article on me, and they included a photo I took in 1970, because I've been a photographer for 40 years.
Another passion.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great hobby and I've enjoyed it. And as I've traveled the world doing television and investing globally with O'Leary Funds, I always have a camera with me. I've got 68,000 images that go back decades. So they picked this one image and published it of an airplane at a show years and years ago. And all of a sudden a gallery in Vancouver called up the author and said, we'd like to sell that in our gallery. And it got me thinking, so I sat down with my partners at the CBC and Brookfield, who is a very big, they own the gallery downtown in First Canadian Place. And I said, listen, I'm going to ask Olga Corbett, who I met shooting Redemption Inc., another show I was involved in. She was on one of the cast members, and she's probably one of the world's greatest curators of photography, and she's got her own gallery. So I had a meeting with her. I said, look at this work, Olga. Can you pick 25 images or help me choose 25 and we'll do a photo show? Brookfield gave up the space for free. The CBC is going to promote it. We're going to sell the prints for $6,000 each. They're archivally built by Charles Chu. They're printed, and then the gilder, which is legendary in making frames, is going to make these artisan handmade frames.
Beautiful.
We've sold our first 3 to a corporation this morning. I can't give their name out because they're going to announce it in October.
That, yeah. We're still getting the intel, though.
I'm very excited about it because we're going to launch this and make it public on October 8th. We're going to have a huge show at a reception at the gallery, and then we'll start selling the prints. And all of that, all the profits of that endeavor go to teenage entrepreneurs.
Which is wonderful.
So I hope we do millions in sales, and we're going to take the show to every Canadian city and major cities in the United States over the next 3 years. That's my big initiative in philanthropy. I'm very excited about it, and it hits right where I care, teenage entrepreneurs. So if you're a teenage entrepreneur out there and you want $25,000 from me, go to the CBC website, enter it. You have to have your teacher enter you. Then you have to put a 3-minute video up there, and everybody can vote. I'm going to take one boy, one girl every year, and they can do whatever they want with that $25,000, and we're just going to grow it from there.
So we'll make sure that we tweet that out and put that on our Facebook as well and push that out.
It would be great. And as soon as the CBC is ready and they turn that site on, I'm going to be asking everybody to push traffic there. So it'll be great.
Well, Kevin, I'm a huge fan. You have been very successful, but I think you've done it. You've made your mistakes, as you admit. But now what you're trying to do is you're helping everybody else not to make those same mistakes. And the fact that you take the time to give back and every opportunity you think of a way in which you can do that says an awful lot about you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And what you do in real estate is probably, in all the asset classes, the most important in this sense. People buy real estate with debt. And if they do it right, it can be a fantastic experience. But if they get it wrong, it can wipe them out.
Devastating.
And so understanding real estate and mortgages and debt and maintaining yourself with debt is paramount. It is the most important thing anybody can work on. So I applaud you for that work you're doing. And I think if you keep that theme of financial literacy going, you can't go wrong. Because most Canadians have the majority of their wealth in their home.
So I think you and I can cause lots of trouble.
I can't wait to do it.
And along with producer Jake there that's holding that camera. So I think at this particular point in time, I think we need to go back and have some fun at your place. What do you think?
Let's go open up some fantastic O'Leary wine. I have just the bottle for you guys. We'll toast to this gorgeous day and all the real estate on this lake. And by the way, I don't think there's any mortgages here. All right, let's do it.